How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. Shocker. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is? You're not a defense attorney. Duh. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without Faye helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. Uh-oh. No, I'm sure Emma's gonna bail you out. I'll be in there, alone. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Oh, he's grown up to be such a big attorney boy. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Exciting.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in the courtroom since his trial.
I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright.
Shocker.
I will choose a path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot.
Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything.
However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand.
The cough-up queen?
Haven't I seen you somewhere?
In the parking lot.
Ooh.
You ordered the caviar lunch, right?
Ho ho, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before.
The judge is really wolfing it down. I don't like caviar, actually. It's too salty.
Ah, and for you, I have a fiesta bowl.
Thanks. Fiesta bowl? This just looks like furikake.
Will the witness state her name and profession?
Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It literally just looks like sesame seeds. Or, is it sesame? What are the black seeds? Poppy seeds? I don't forget what those seeds are. It might be just sesame.
It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please.
Well, Your Honor, how does it taste?
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.
I mean, kinda does. It's like really salty. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Salty.
Name, profession, now.
Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating.
Hurry it up.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
Uh-huh. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective.
What? Miss Starr was a detective?
Aha! I know who you are. Cough up.
Cough up Queen, Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr.
Just who is this lady? She's a cough-up queen. If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks.
I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes?
The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Her. Why, it was me, Your Honor.
Duh. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
It seemed rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what that little hope they may have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me? Yes, they are, because defense attorneys are lame. Actually, no, they're not. They're awesome. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bring a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching. Humph. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. Ha 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 ha. Oh, Judge, making jokes in the courtroom.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed?
I'm still thinking about that.
It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
All right, cough-up queen. Let's see what you can give us. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy.
The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted.
Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Laid off?
She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr.
I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend.
This boyfriend, he's a detective?
Not that boyfriend, the security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the lunches, thanks.
Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there.
That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car?
Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finally honed detective's intuition at work.
You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder?
It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
I have no idea what that means. Me neither, Judge. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodwin, also a detective?
Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. What does that mean?
Young cheese?
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then it must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. I guess he's talking about like cheddar.
Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. Oh, Emma, that's not nice. In any case, there, in Lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car.
By garish car, you mean...
Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it?
Indeed, it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was a defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her.
If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness.
You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie.
Huh? Rookie?
Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me?
I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap! I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera.
Oh, really? I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging around her neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now?
You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
But she's in the A block. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye.
So, what was the defendant doing at the time?
The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand.
Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying.
Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all.
Yes, that's about right.
Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set.
You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person.
Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor?
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then?
Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
So...
You realized enough that something bad was happening to take a picture, but you didn't realize early enough to try to like stop her, like shout stop at her. Okay. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Alright, so... What's your boyfriend? Something. Through the wire fence, standing next to a garage car. Holding a knife in her right hand. So, the picture, right? So this shows she was in the B block. But she said earlier she was in the security window. So I don't know where to... Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. Right. So that's true, right? Because that's what the camera shows. A knife in her right hand. No prints. Okay. What about the picture? Her right hand seems pretty injured. Then she thrusts a tip. She runs the knife in her right hand. Then she thrusts the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. So I don't know if I have to press more again into her thing because we just got the picture. So let's see. Let's see if anything's different. No, that's the same. No, that's the same. Press. Okay, so... Yeah, she was in the B-Block when she witnessed the crime. The wire fence of the prosecutor next to a garish car. That is true. So maybe it's... I guess it has to be the picture because... Oops. Nope. Because it shows her, like with an injury? Okay, I was right. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with a knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. Salmon swirl? Ooh, doesn't sound good at all. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. It literally is like a box of sauce. What? But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Oh, is that what it was? Okay, alright.
Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection.
That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth.
Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing.
And how can you tell that? Blood splatter.
Huh?
See that dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph.
Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here.
No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Arg. You got a better idea? Objection, I guess? I don't know. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture of the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? Yeah, that's it? If you round out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understand it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Okay, so it can't be premeditated because she grabbed the knife from Edward's car, right? How can she plan to use Edward's knife? Like, how could she plan that? Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves, made of thin rubber most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Warg. Waluigi.
These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder. A serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves?
The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, of the kind used for autopsies.
In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. That's the only possible conclusion one can make.
Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime.
Arg.
Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Star.
This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she improves this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You set the... Oh, okay. Okay. So it has to be the knife, right? Because this was Edward's box, right? Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell boxes lunch for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edward's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife.
What's with this case?
The bloody murder weapon? A red car? All belonging to the prosecutor there?
The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, our prosecutor's possible. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. Oh, what's that, Rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves.
Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning.
However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Oh, Warg. What are these, werewolves?
Order, order, order.
Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
Tisk tisk. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie.
What?
I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. That's exactly what he was thinking. Not over such a trifling detail. That's not trifling.
But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Yeah, right?
Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not.
Ah, okay.
The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there.
That's true.
The defendant, Lana Sky, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else.
That's true. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you? My powers of detection are not to be underestimated. Really now? Ooh, now she's all like evil angel right now. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge a knife in again and again. Oh, multiple times? No, I think it was only once.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
On the pizza delivery guy person, I guess it could. So let's say, like, you know, your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend worked at a pizza company, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna murder her. So you call her over, knowing that like he or she is, you know, doing deliveries that day. So you order pizza, order delivery, bam, premeditation, because you knew her work schedule or his work schedule. Angel's deduction. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. You've said that, but you know you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you.
Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet.
Oh, Edgeworth. Oh, my heart. It stabs so much. Oh.
Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim?
Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Sky called him there. You have no proof that she didn't.
Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's phone.
She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least.
In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness? Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day?
I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Why? What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See? We agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree? What?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
No, I don't get it at all. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. Yeah, she's not either. She's not good at making them.
The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this?
It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge a knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction. Oh my god.
Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright?
Note to self. Mr. Edgeworth's sigh smells like citrus fruit. That's actually a sign of, Oh, what's the disease called? It's a liver disease. Oh, what is it called? Not ketosis, but well, I guess that's it too. Like liver failure. Oh, I forgot the word for what the liver failure is. It's a certain type of liver failure. And like your breath begins to smell kind of fruity. You say again and again. How many times did you stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she gets getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when she met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it be on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax, and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Okay, so... autopsy report, right? Yeah, 1 knife wound, right? Yeah, 1 knife wound. 1 knife wound. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. Is it really moss or is it algae? Because algae is pretty good. I like algae. Algae and seaweed, delicious.
I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
It was me! I read this. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Yeah, I noticed, Phoenix. Because it was me clicking.
Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right? Is this ketchup on rice? That's so sad. Not even an egg. Ugh.
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now, I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she looked at her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's what I thought. She must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Red muffler? What red muffler? Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
I mean, yeah, it is pretty big. It is pretty bib-like. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only 1 knife wound.
Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance! Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be a short-tempered... Oh, okay. Challenger ability... Yeah. Okay. Tended to murder governments, recall the victim on the victim, red muffler. Does the photo show her with the red muffler? Yeah, she's not wearing the red muffler here. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation.
The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
He's gonna steal my evidence again? What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be.
Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Oh, Edgeworth. Oh, are you sure you even need a knife in your car? Like your words. Oh, your words are sharp enough. Oh. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good.
So painful. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection? Chopped liver?
But it was there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really?
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
What?
Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect.
Oops, I missed it. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained to her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile.
You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star.
It wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother with the details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against a poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum.
An oil drum? Hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I felt so awkward saying that.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side.
So, where's this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall. Oh, sorry, Edgeworth. I'm sure she means this wall next to the car.
That's right.
There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot.
You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
You should press for more details. Yes. Press her. I like to see this on the floor plan, just to be safe. The lunchtime car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in point B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you?
I went over it, of course.
Amazing! The cough-up queen, lunch lady athlete indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to that sister that fast.
Yeah, the fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away? True.
Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler.
She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say?
If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else?
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean. Ask further! By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately?
My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see Miss Starr.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall?
That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone?
How did she know if she's on the B block and there's a wall there?
Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should, of course, add this testimony to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. I saw it all, how she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the...
And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence?
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. She made to escape? Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras. Huh? Huh, indeed. She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on the side of the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The other... the parking lot entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few more, finding more though. So Miss Sky tried to run? I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. I believe you. Oops. So, okay, so she saw it, but she couldn't have. So do I show... Either show the picture or show the floor plans? I'll show the floor plans, I guess. Oops. Press P to present. Okay, yeah, I was right. Floor plans. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. Stop stealing my evidence!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Oh, okay, you're on our side. Well, who would have thought that you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Huh. I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. Sweat. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If, indeed, you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Oh yeah, here comes the music. Bark.
Order, order. What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Grr.
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court.
Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about, I guess where she saw it. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What's significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it.
Pointless to lie? I see.
But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location.
A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one.
Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place where Miss Star witnessed the crime was here. It has to be the security office because she was delivering lunch to her boyfriend. This is the only place where she could have been.
The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room as the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Star? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got better of Angel Star.
Order, order! Witness, what have you done? Used to be a detective, you should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty. Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make any sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
No, because it still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, because it would have taken her. So if she saw her make the phone call up in the security guard office, then, you know, that picture was like probably like 10 minutes or 5 minutes for her to like run all the way back to the other side of the parking lot. So she didn't like take a moment of the murder. There could have been a lot of time happening between then.
What?
If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Star witnesses crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference. But what? What would change? Distance to the crime. It changed the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plan and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Star, you witnessed the crime scene, the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? And how did you take a picture on the other side of the parking lot?
Well, witness?
You. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? They look like rubber bands. The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Yeah, see, that's a long time to run to the B-side parking lot. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. See? That's like a lot of time that can happen between 5 minutes.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. How fine can a plastic spork be?
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Is it a pointy spork? Caviar. Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Where's the objection? 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. Yeah, that's like super al dente. What? I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange?
Strange?
Yeah, why won't you run? If you were a criminal, what would you do with your 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg.
Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on the account of her professional history.
We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Objection. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? Guess that's the ones you try to force off on me.
I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say?
I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Hoo-hoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Luchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What you going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Yeah, what decisive evidence do you have left? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with the evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, the shoe is legal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edward sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, the shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edward is looking pretty sullen. Yeah, look how sullen his eyes are. Oh, man.
You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Man, this is a really long episode.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene.
Why did you lie about those 5 minutes?
I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results.
The results?
How many times do I have to say this?
I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blink means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up?
And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime?
I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with the shoe.
Oh my god, so savage. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. The shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen.
See this fat old basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed the valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now, tell us what you did next.
2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's.
So, you brought it to the defense department?
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert.
And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Well, the man was stabbed after all.
And the blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman?
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe.
And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure that blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, Rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether murder was committed in cold blood. Aw, Phoenix, come on.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood drawn to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Sky's.
So suspect's blood was found in the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman.
I was afraid I was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Ooh. Nope. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? I don't know, I guess. I'm not imagining things. I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with evidence.
I don't know. What's wrong with it? Well, there's blood on the bottom? Is that what's contradictory? Is that there's blood on the bottom? I guess it was like, whose blood is that? I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of this shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of this shoe?
I don't know. What? Oh, was there like no blood on the floor? Yeah, there's no blood on the floor. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe.
The picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints.
Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order, order, order. Well, witness?
What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Because someone washed it off, I guess? Oh.
That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just gonna find contradictions. What?
I see. Now I get it.
Oh, because she spilled the oil drum with the water, I guess. Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I give her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. Prepare this one. A leopard woman. Rawr.
I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though, apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness? Well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? She washed away the blood. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason, and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Warg. Luigi. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie quite clear to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't you say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. But Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star's on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Skye. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You say my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well... I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness. Don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you'll be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this. Photograph? I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. But Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo! Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seemed this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right. Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Yadi. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. It'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph.
I don't know. Not enough blood on his suit for being stabbed? And for being blood everywhere on the floor? Oh, this? And then the muffler? The problem in this photograph is here!
What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler! Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
Huh. So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Let's see what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
This one. Muffler on the phone. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Yerg. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, Warg. Wario.
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I found myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed.
I suppose so. Phew, that was close. But we made it. At least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess.
Only 30 minutes? Oh dear.
It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry? I know he ate like 5 lunchboxes. Jeez. And 30 minutes just to inspect the cloth in the car? Oof. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video.